Well folks, I'm not gonna bother showing you that side of the car today because Joep ain't there. We're leaving from Joep's home today, so that's very easy for him. And probably also next week and the week after, because we'll be visiting Maastricht and its surroundings. Maastricht is an awesome city which I highly recommend you visit if you should go to the Netherlands or if you should live in the Netherlands. And I hope these videos will give you a little bit of inspiration. It's a special place. So this is the bridge we were looking at last week. Remember that? Where the river split? Yep, that's here. And I'm driving on it.
Good morning, peeps of that Joep. This is me comfortable chilling on my couch in my house in Maastricht, waiting for Stijn to visit me. Maastricht, that's where we ended last week, and now we're gonna explore the city. I think we're gonna do it in 2 or 3 weeks, but yeah, let's start at the beginning. We walk from our house to the Maas River, cross some nice historic scenes. We will tell you more about that later. And then we're gonna visit the Maas from the point that we left it last week from Bosselveld. And from that point we will discover Wyck and we will walk onwards to the city center. And in the coming weeks we will also explore what's the nature side of Maastricht, because we have quite a lot and it's beautiful to walk. So yeah, let's have another coffee and wait till the boy is here.
He does sound like he needs coffee, doesn't he? My goodness. My goodness. Welcome to our beautiful Maastricht. This has been the start of many of our walks, including the food there, which we're skipping because I already had breakfast. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, it would have been very comfortable because we had a slight hangover this morning, but we're totally fine. We're almost at the Hoge Fronten, at least part of it. But we're gonna tell you more about that when we arrive.
So what about this one?
This looks old, but actually it was built in 1970s-ish. We will fact check as much as possible, but I think 50% of what we're saying is partially true at least. No, but this is really not that old. But it looks really cool.
It is really cool, and it really adds to what you see when you drive up to this roundabout. Because the rest of it is just, yeah, no. And then you see the awesome building behind us. It does work. Also, when he says we have a hangover, he means he has a hangover, because I wasn't there. So
hang in there.
You hang in there.
We have arrived at the Linie van Dumoulin. These fortifications are from 1700s. They started building this around Maastricht 100 years earlier because they noticed that the Middle Ages city walls, they weren't capable for all the machinery and artillery that they had at that point. So we were conquered twice in 3 years by the Dutch and then by the French, and after 5 years by the Dutch. So the French started this in Wyck, that's the other side of the Maas River. And then the Dutch, after some years, keep innovating and innovating. And this was actually one of the last parts, but the best. Usually there's water in between all those fortresses, but this part of Maastricht is so high that it's no use to have water here. We would all run back into the Maas. That was fortunate for our walks, but we weren't born yet. So what they did, they had a lot of tunnels called the casematten underneath here and underneath a big part of the city center on this side. So they could attack the enemy also from below. Really clever. We have never been conquered afterwards. Maybe it's because of the peace and the treaties that Maastricht is also famous for. But hey, it worked.
Oh shit. Why do we bring GoPros and cameras to do
Stijn, what are you doing?
I'm not dying. I did not die. Thank you. Is this
Off we go.
That is a glorious view, actually. That massive white building there That is the Eiffel building, which is part of the Royal Sphinx, which used to be a pottery and ceramics company, which pretty much is one of the things that made this city big. Not much left of it now, but if you're on a toilet somewhere, especially in Europe, see if you can find the Sphinx logo, because it may and will be there.
The church.
Oh, that's where we started.
The new old church.
See, we haven't gotten that far yet, but it's pretty. Ooh. Oh, that's not so echoey. Just a bit hollow. Mas. Joep is very busy sending me the actual route, although he seems confused about it himself. You got this? Are you coming? Good. Running up that hill.
We moved to the lower fronts.
Going down.
The lage fronten. This area was established some years ago, a little bit before Corona. And now it's a walking area that's really nice. In some videos ago we were talking about a canal that didn't go to Den Bosch at all.
Yep.
But the lower part of that
here,
canal
right?
starts here.
Yeah.
And back in the days, for transport of ceramics and other stuff, it went all the way up to Den Bosch.
We have 7 followers. I say we achieved greatness. Ooh, tunnel. What are these? Déjà vu. You've found something to play with. That bridge I told you about earlier, the one we saw last time and the one I was driving on just now, this is a part of the old Northern Bridge, as it's called. Yep, and you can still get on top of this. It's slightly pointless though, as we're about to find out. It still feels illegal to do this. Every time I hear a car, I'm like, oh god, it's coming for us. But it's not coming for us, because it wouldn't get very far. Because that is where this bridge ends. Righto. And there's the other bridge, as you can see. That's the one I was driving on. Is this the viewpoint of Gizeh?
No.
Oh. This overpass turns everyone into a 90s skater.
Ah.
At the top of these slightly hidden steps is one of my favorite buildings of the city. And it doesn't have so much to do with the building itself, even though it's glorious. It has a lot to do about what's going on there. Music! Music and the workout, as it turns out. Is the muziekgieterij, music pourery. And it's the only music venue in this province that is worthwhile, to be honest. Which is both sad and a good thing, because they actually have a programmer who knows what he's doing. Obviously not open now, even though the door is, but I highly recommend you go and have a look there if there's something to your fancy.
As the legend goes, just outside of the city center, you're gonna see that in some weeks, There's a lot of wineries, but at that exact spot there was also a small part of the Sphinx. They had a warehouse there, but they were also making a lot of things. This is the big Sphinx area that everybody knows. It brought a lot of fortune to the city. But why did it become so big? As they told me, in the World War, the outside part of the city that also had a lot of a small part of the Sphinx, they kept on producing, and it wasn't bombed or anything, so the warehouse stayed intact. So after the World War II ended, they had a lot of stock that they used in rebuilding the rest of the Netherlands and this area here. So they made a lot of fortune, and from that they kept on making porcelain. It's sold all over the world. It's still active. If you go to Spain and take a look, it's Sphinx or Moza, two factories that are on the opposite side of the
Moza is Roman for Maas, so there we go.
There you go.
Even
Let's
while
go.
taking a leak, we go full circle.
Yeah, we're gonna have some coffee now.
Oh yes, fair enough. So this is the Sphinx passage, and this is where the old baking ovens used to be, and it was a bit pointless now. So they turned it into this little museum.
And a tango school.
And a tango school apparently, which is going on there, where they show the history of the Sphinx because we walk this way, reverse chronological order, we entered on the wrong end. You even get to see the Sphinx, and here is that logo that you should keep an eye out for. So here's the entrance gate through which the workers entered the building, and that is there into the building, this building, this building. The gate's still there.
The building is too.
The building is too, and there you go. All still there. Yay for not bombing the city. We can only be happy about that. Now it's time for lunch. Nom nom.
Time for lunch.
The most important ingredient. Love. Coffee.
It's making lunch again.
Ah, this is new. We're making our own lunch, but we're not home. What is this saucy? That's actually too much cheese, but I'm gonna just have it all. We are well fed. Let's exit this establishment and continue our walk.
Since coffee is a very important part of our tour, let's go to the one and only Breekgebouw from Blanchedal Coffee Roasters and grab some souvenirs.
So that building used to be where they baked the bricks for, you know, building, and they've turned it into a coffee roasting facility. The thing is though, they still have some of the old walls left, and it looks really cool both outside and in. Factory feel is very real here. Some beans and some gifts to go to Portugal, which Portugal will only know when this video is released or when it arrives. From now on, this will be the soundtrack of these videos. I'm very sorry, but this is the best I can do. I have a camera to hold, I have a GoPro to hold, we have an ambulance already, and the bag is dangling. My bag be dangling.
Jingle bells, jingle bells. This is where we had coffee and lunch. This is where we're going now. Not for lunch, but for the boats.
There's the basin. Once purely business, now luxury apartments, mostly. Not that many boats today. I don't think the weather's really very boaty. This too is all Sphinx. That one has been defunct for a long time, making it very urbexy. That's looking in great shape. These are all old Sphinx buildings as well. Until recently, or actually it's still sort of there, this, behind this building, was the Landbouwbelang, which was sort of a cultural free state. And before that, it was storage for grain and other farmer stuff. and a distribution center for farming equipment, farming goods, whatever. 22 years ago it was squatted by cultural types, and it was awesome, and by now municipality has decided it needs to go, which is honestly really sad because they managed to do all of that stuff here for 22 years without any issues. And we need a little you know, open-minded left-wing crap in every city, and this was a good thing. But yeah, it's about to be demolished, unfortunately, and what's coming in its place is just horrible. Are there any pheasants here? So something people do, they actually take these boats to Liège, or as the Flemish-speaking Belgians call it, Luik, which is the nearest large city, I think the nearest other large city actually, in Belgium. Do we want to do that for these videos?
We're going to Luik, yes.
But are we going by boat?
So last week we had a hike and we entered Maastricht and we saw the Maas. And if you can look real close, on that side you see a green sign that said Zuid-Willemsvaart. And that's actually where we stood and talked about going to Maastricht. We're now standing on the Wilhelmina Bridge. There's Stijn. Hi Stijn. Maastricht is a city of bridges. We do have 5 at this side. The Northern Bridge that we told about some minutes ago. And then we have the Wilhelmina Bridge, as I stated. And then we go there next week. There is the old bridge, the old Maas Bridge, also known as the Savaas Bridge. And we have the walking bridge, the Hoogbrug, the high bridge, and the Kennedy Bridge. That's the bridge that connects with the other outskirt of the city. But more from that. We go to Wyck.
Off goes a boat to Liège.
You know that Liège is on that side. Supposedly this is how everybody that once occupied Maastricht entered the town. Because on that side, the old city center, was with the city walls, of course. And here were only peasants, not pheasants, mind you.
We've seen enough pheasants.
The running gag is in Maastricht, if you live on that side of the Maas, you're on the good side. If you live on this side, you're on the wrong side. I live on the good side, but I live almost in Belgium, but still.
Can you please tell the people that you're not actually from Maastricht?
I'm not actually from Maastricht.
Thank you. You know, full disclosure and everything.
We were in Venlo drinking a very nice beer that Sander made at Mout. And this is where the bastard started. This is actually the city brewery of Maastricht. It's been there for ages. It started as Brouwerij de Ridder. There's another brewery on that side of Wyck. So there was a lot of beer. So I don't know if it's that wrong to live on this side. But hey.
Is this the beery side?
This is the beery side.
Oh, beery side's the best side. We have absolutely no reason to walk here other than that alleyways are just awesome. You forgot your wings.
TripAdvisor tip from De Joep. Best Italian restaurant in town.
What's it called? Toscana.
Toscanella.
I can't read that. They don't have the best logo, but they supposedly have the best food. I haven't had it yet, because Joep never takes me anywhere. Closed on Mondays, but Kinsum Records actually has some really nice second-hand vinyl.
School's out for summer.
Yeah, school's very much out.
School's
Jeez.
out.
School's out. But Kinsum's great. It's a lovely small city record store with a great second-hand selection. And there's a pun in the name that I'm not gonna bother to explain.
Fun fact about this church. Our very first walk had a Martinez tower without any church. Then some walks after that we found a Martinez church without any tower. And this is a fully complete church, Martinez church, including a tower and a church. I think this is what Pierre Kuipers meant, because he designed this. Do we still remember him from Roermond? I guess so. Little detour, Stijn is going for a hipster tea.
I know that people.
Hollow cheeses are hollow.
Cut my life into pieces.
Are you fact checking the station?
No.
Okay, well there's a station here, that's a fact.
Not only ancient emperors entered the city on this side, but also the tourists and a lot of students, and actually everybody who's visiting Maastricht by train is. I always joke, if we are in another city that's not as pretty as this, that there's always one good part, the train to Maastricht. This is it.
All trains here go
All
to Maastricht.
trains here go to Maastricht.
It is a lovely station building. Imagine them turning this into something modern, that would just be blasphemy. Anyway, with piano being played, what's next? Food?
I actually just wanted to show you the ceiling.
Oh, okay, that's one reason to go into a supermarket. Look, we're on the telly. It's interesting how this is so normal in many other countries, but not so much in the Netherlands. It's one of those little bridges through which you can pass over the railroad tracks. It's our nearby future. The train to Liège. This is the Sint-Servaas bridge, or the Maas bridge, whichever you want to call it. And we're actually not going to cross it because that is the good side of the city, which we will save for later. Currently we're just going to go here, and we'll just leave you all hanging.
A little touristy fun fact about the old Maas bridge. It's called the Servaas bridge. And why is that? Because the Bishop Servaas used to see it here in the city of Maastricht, but at some time it moved to Liège. That's the other side of the Maas that we're gonna visit in some weeks. And at that time they placed the, here it is, the statue of Sint-Servaas on a bridge. And what he's actually doing, he's doing this, he's blessing the bishop's seat in Liège. There's another Sint-Servaas statue on the bridge in Liège. We will try to find it when we go there within the coming weeks.
That library building says Centre Céramique because this too used to be part of the ceramic factories of Sphinx. And in 1992 they signed the Maastricht Treaty, obviously in Maastricht, and they commemorated that by making this square. It's a bit weird to be on a modern square in an old city, but it has some major benefits. Some really good coffee there, and there's the new bridge that was built from the square to the city park, and it also leads to Joop's work.
And some monumental buildings. This is the old Bordenhal, the Plates Hall. Yeah. It's also an old building that's still active, but not as a factory, of course. It's now the home base of Toneelgroep Maastricht, Theater Group Maastricht.
One of the nicknames for this building is the Tampon, and I'm sure you can see why. But I must admit, when was this built, Joop?
This is built in 1996. Actually, the whole surrounding area is built in that same period.
I love how well it ages. It still stands out positively despite the typical 96 color scheme and the bare metal and everything. It's an awesome building.
Museum of contemporary art, but also some old masters that we have
like
in the first floor. And I'm not one of the old masters.
these are the weirdest sounding slabs of stone. Listen. What the heck? Your museum, man, it's metal.
Metal!
With the Treaty of Maastricht, the euro was born. And this is the star square, actually it's more of a star roundabout. It's all of the stars of the states of the European Union. One of them is rotating. Oh, two of them are. Are they wind powered, Juke?
Yes.
I never noticed they rotate. Oh, they just stopped. Cool. Skater and photographer at Templeton has a really cool exposition here. I've been there, I bought the book, it's absolutely awesome. And they built a temporary skate ramp outside, which is just awesome. Comfy. Kind of hard to do with the camera in your hands. I'm slipping. We got up on this ramp, but I was also holding a camera because I don't have a fancy strap like Juke does, so I couldn't use this arm because it would fall. And now I hurt my other arm, so that's got to be great for the video. But hey, makeshift pretend to be skaters. Ahoy! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
This is the Wiebenecker Hall. It was one of the factories of the Sphinx, and this is where actually the toilet seats, not seats, toilet pots, is that the word?
Yeah.
The toilets were made.
It's now a shit building.
It's a shit building.
Right.
It's a really important building. This is one of the first and oldest concrete structured buildings. It was a really example for that period of time.
And it worked because it's still there since 1912.
So, hey, I think I'm getting really thirsty. How about you, Stan?
Beer.
Let's go.
I'm not gonna lie, this does not feel safe. These stairs have some steps missing. Help! Man, the things I do for our videos. I'm not even sure how I got here, but here we are. So what am I on, Joop? What is this? Can you do some Googling maybe?
This is an old tower.
It is an old tower, yeah, it's very old. He's not even trying to catch me, is he? So I have size 46/12 US shoes, which is really not ideal if you try to get down something that is not really stairs anymore. But
somehow we managed.
Maastricht has an interesting vibe today. It's like everyone is leaving the city and no one's actually coming in, and no one seems to be completely relaxed. I'm relaxed. Are you relaxed?
Kind of.
Kind of. So it's his fault then.
This is, as they say, the tiniest house in the whole city of Maastricht. Is it true? It's not big, that's for sure. But what's even more interesting about this place is that the old Maas Bridge was actually here. This is the exact spot where the Romans crossed this part of the River Maas and actually founded this settlement that became Maastricht. Trajectum ad Mosam, what actually means the only place in the Maas that they could cross.
Because we love to taunt and tease you all, we are, even for our beer, staying on this side of the city, because normally we'd be in the center, obviously, on the other side.
The good side.
The good side.
And now we're on the beer side.
Yeah. But yeah, the beer will be exactly on the side of the river.
Do you have enough beer roll for this movie?
I have plenty of beer roll for this movie, and we'll shoot some more now. We are almost in the Maas, waiting for our beers. We did some thorough research. This brewery has, or this cafe has its own untapped page. So we did some research, porters, stouts. We should be good. This table is not exactly level, and well, oh boy, that's a very British-looking beer. You're not a foamy boy today. We went for porters.
Cheerio.
I like porters. He doesn't need to drive. That helps. On the bridge to the other side that you're not allowed to see yet. What do we think?
What do you think? It's really different to walk in the city with a camera and
trying to show the people the things that we've already taken so many photos and videos of. Yeah, it's hard.
We walked here, I think, almost 100 times.
Oh, probably more.
Maybe more. So it's quite convenient, but also different.
Yeah.
But the vibe wasn't as usual.
No.
It's a new season of students. Maybe that's the thing.
Yeah, everyone's still searching and
It's
restless.
August and it's autumn weather.
August 28th.
So yeah, the variables
The variables. Variables.
I'm not that good, but yeah,
It's still a beautiful city though, isn't it?
I can't complain.
And the good thing about Maastricht is the train to Maastricht goes there. See you next week.
Old inner harbor.
The city has a bit of an interesting vibe today. It's like
A bit weird.
everyone's leaving and no one's relaxing and coming. So we don't. We don't. It's not what I meant, Joep. No one's coming into the city. Cut!